All right, so Park, suppose we got a dear mentor of mine, I guess I should say. We got Coach Shon Harrison in the building right now. We grew up in a place called 30 Virginia. If you know what that is, that's called the real
uh,
Milwaukee Tech, not Bradley, even though he's Bradley because that's what the name changed into. What's going on, bro?
I'm doing all right, man. I can't complain. How you been?
I'm all right, man. Living the dream, bro.
Oh
Just
man,
want
I
to get
love
into your
hearing that.
just want to get into your background, my guy. Let them know about you.
I'm Co-Sign Hero said, attended Tech from 1999 until 2002. I was one of the last freshmen to play varsity at Tech before Parkinson retired, who I played 3 years for, and 1 year with the Perry. A year at Tennessee State. Then I played a half semester at Bethany Lutheran, and I just decided I wanted to go into the NBA. I didn't get 6 foot. I just wanted my degree. So I transferred back to Tennessee State, got my degree. Mysteriously, ended up playing in summer leagues and fall leagues, and started training a little bit without even knowing, just watching kids do the wrong stuff in the gyms. Ended up starting getting the coach with my brother-in-law. That ended up being a couple of years. I ended up started at WCOL, Wisconsin Conservatory of Lifelong Learning, for about 2 years. Went over to Milwaukee Juno for 1 year as a JV coach. Went to Milwaukee Madison for 1 year as a JV coach. And then I really had no interest in being a head coach at all, just to be honest with you. It just
Mm.
kind of, some people want to be a coach, they want to go to the NBA. I was just, just there soaking in the moment and just enjoying, watching the kids get better. Then I had a alumni from the old Tech say, "Hey, the head coach job is open at Tech. What do you think about it?" I was like, "Well, they kind of dissed the old Tech when they named it Bradley Tech and tried to erase our history." So I'm like, "Well, I'll apply for it to see what goes on." So I applied for it. I had one of our good mentors, Sarge Williams, who passed away
Yeah.
earlier this year, was on the staff. Um, Another assistant coach when I was here, my seniors on the staff. And about 10 minutes after the interview, I went down to the gym, met some of the kids. They came down and told me I got the job. And hey, I've been there ever since. That's why they say it's Bradley Tech now, but everything that we wear is always Tech basketball.
Hmm.
Um, so I've been at Tech after high school varsity head coach since 2017. We'll be going into, I believe, my seventh year because the COVID year doesn't count. We didn't have a season. So far, I have sent six, seven, 9 kids to play college basketball for free. I got one kid, Mikael Cool, who graduated 2018. He'll be signing a pro contract next week with the Pete Michael group, so he'll be out here trying to get overseas or D League. I have another high flyer kid, Lyric Davis, who's at Tennessee State, who's transferred back to UW Milwaukee. I have a very good freshman right now who has 2 offers. He's about 6'4", 2'3" guard, Jakari Smith. And I got a couple of sophomores that can be very good, long as they continue to put in the work and work hard. So we got some pieces going on. AU wise, I started off with ABC Young Lions in 2016, and then took a break. And I came back 20, 20, 21, 22 with Phenom University, which is Nike UIBL team. So Jalen Johnson, Patrick Baldwin, Tyrese Hunter, Steph Trimble, Andrew Rhoda, we had all those guys over there. So then after we got done with that group, I just stepped back from AAU and just enjoying the have my summers right now. But the basketball thing is pretty much it's a gift and a curse right now. I mean, if you're good at it, you won't get no recognition. But if you're bad at it, you get all the attention in the world that you don't want. And my thing with it right now, what I'm trying to get people to understand is, it's not about how skilled you are. It's about your character and your relationships with people. And if you have a high character, you know how to carry yourself, and you can keep relationships, you can hold conversations, you know how to communicate, you know how to respond back to text messages, emails, phone calls. Those are the things that get your scholarship. It's not about averaging 30 points a game. Like those days are, long out the window right now. So So I've been around for a long time. I was, I would say, heavily recruited out of high school. I had a couple of schools that were high academic, and I didn't want to take my ACT over again. Like I got a 20 on in my first go round. I needed a 22 for a couple of schools. And I was just like, I'm not going to the NBA. I'm cool if I play. I'm cool if I don't. So that's why I ended up walking on to TSU. And then I was just like, this ain't for me. This is too much of it's too much of a business, too much of a grind that I'm not really prepared for anymore. And the dream of playing at a high level, it didn't weed down. It's just, is it worth it?
And and a lot of people end up chasing that, and they get to these places, and you see, like you just said, where like, yeah, this is a true business. It's like, hey, okay, you look around for a second, it's like you almost question yourself. Anybody that's ever been confident doing anything, like regardless if it's a sport or not, you don't want to question yourself because you've
No,
been doing it
no.
too. You've been doing it. Why would you do that?
Yeah, and I think nowadays, seeing a lot of these kids and seeing these tweets and Instagrams, they have too much added pressure for nothing. Just let them be a kid, let them be a student athlete, let them enjoy it. But then on the other hand, you have helicopter parents that think their kid is going to go to the NBA, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't understand you have to have a special skill set or do something well to be in the NBA, or let alone get a divisional scholarship. And the first thing is you got to have grades. I don't care. Nobody says you have to have grades to play in college. If you're 6'8" and you run and jump like a deer, they might have a place for you. They just might. But that's not as stone as you've been at that level for a long time. You see these guys come and go.
Mm-hmm. And like you'll hear about the dude who was like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? I can't, okay, perfect example. Had a guard, right? On that national group. He just really struggled with the science courses. D2 school out of North Carolina wanted to offer him. They flew over to the semifinal. They couldn't be at the final because, they got to recruit, they got to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
So they fly out, to go do that or whatever. He's like, hey, I'm going to keep in contact with you. I just want to see the original transcript because it was a transfer to us. Even though he's from our area, he left our area and went somewhere else. Well, when they started matching what they could take because he wasn't going to show up with the associate's degree, it was just like, well, no, we can't get you in. But to them, he was their guy. They were really on him until it. So
Yeah.
then they told him, like, look, we want you. So they had him come out and visit. And they said, hey, we'll offer you as long as you take the science course over and you get this grade. And then we'll just deal with you not having the associates. But then he couldn't get the grade he needed to in the science course. So that was just one of the things that was everything laid out, just couldn't get it happens. And unfortunately, it happens too many times. But another positive story on that side, too, we had a guy that he had all these offers from schools in the South. He really didn't want to go that far because mom liked coming to the games, stuff like that. And, dad, too. So they allowed him to retake his math placement or whatever just so he could place into the course instead of retaking that course because that took him another semester. Placed into the course, and they flew right in the moment he got it.
Yeah.
So that grades aspect super, super important. But like you said, the character thing too, because on call, all right, so how's he operating? As long as he doesn't have a bad attitude, he's not a cancer, we usually don't care. But one of the guys like, yeah, I'm gonna come have his 30 back. Everybody thinks he's gonna have his 30, but nobody does it.
Man, I don't think they understand how hard it is to let alone average 15 points a game. So now
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about 30. And a lot of people understand when you're scoring 30 points, you have to go to the free throw line 10 to 15 times for it to be a smooth, easy 30.
Mm-hmm.
Because these kids think 30 points is coming all off of three pointers. Not going to happen.
No.
Nobody's going to let you shoot 23 pointers a game at a high clip unless that's your specialty. And as a college recruiter, those guys that you get, that's their job. And if they don't shoot it, they're not playing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of those things right now where we're facing an uphill battle of my kid is good or this kid is good, but in reality they're not. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we just don't have no transparency or honesty going on in this here basketball thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a coach reach out to me about a kid that I had. I said, well, coach, the thing is, he hasn't even got out of his scholarship yet. So I'm gonna do you a favor and say, hey, I'll give you his coach number. You can reach out to him, and then you guys can talk. But as far as I know, he hasn't been released. So the kids don't even understand that you can't contact and talk to these schools without being released, no matter what level.
Mm-hmm.
So they think it's really like some NBA thing, like, well, I'm just not going back to school next semester. You never disenrolled, you never withdrew anything, and then you get upset when you have a $6,500 tab and you can't go play nowhere else or get your transcripts.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you tell them the small detail of things, like I said, it's laid out. Just go A, B, C, D, E. They want to go A, Z, G, A1, A2, and I'm like, that's not the blueprint. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't go that way. It and they also have to think of listen to people who never played or never been in the business to give them ideas on what they should do, how they should handle things. And then a year or two down the line, nobody talks about the kid anymore or the
Mm-hmm.
player or he just fell off the face of the planet.
Yeah.
And I see it all the time. It's just, we talk about, I pretty much keep my stuff, my lips closed on a lot of things because it's none of my business. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're genuine in what you do, the kids can figure out and see that. But I think so many kids are so naive with these false hopes and false dreams of, I want to go to Duke, I want to go to Carolina. I realized when I wasn't 6 feet tall, I wasn't no Duke, wasn't no Arizona, wasn't no UCLA, and that was over with. 6 feet, not happening. I couldn't do no with a 6'2", 195 pound Jason Williams. All right, let's just be honest. It's no way in the world. Low mid major, yeah, different. But even that landscape has changed now because it's been even across the board. So when I hear kids say, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go to MATC for JUCO," I'm like, "No, you're not. They're they're national champions, and the year before they were, I believe, what runner ups. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work that way. You just can't go play at MATC anymore. That's not a laughing stock. None of those places are, and they don't
Mm-hmm.
understand that. Even when the kid I had for you guys a couple years ago, who you guys took a chance on, and I mean, he's running around playing adult leagues right now, still trying to say he got visits at 24 years old. So it's a false sense of hope and narrative going on with these guys. But I mean, they have to find out their own way.
Yeah. And unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, they get into them situations, like you said, they got the tab, then they contact you and it's like, oh, he can actually play. But we like, what's the transcript? Well, I can't get it. Huh? I can't get the transcript. See, I withdrew, but I didn't know I had to do that before the 10th week. Yeah, you did. You did. They tell you that when you get your refund check. You was on
Mhm.
scholarship. So I know you had the refund check between week 4 and week 10.
Yeah,
Week 10, they tell you, you know what I'm saying, once you got the check, essentially they say all your classes and stuff like that, your business is taken care of. That's the reason they gave you the check.
yeah,
I didn't know I couldn't. Man, they tell you all that stuff in the guide. But everybody, like you said, they either skim through it, don't read it, don't pay attention, or like you said too, they start at point A. Now I'm gonna go over here to point F. Let me just go on over here. I'm gonna hang out over here. Oh, that ain't right. Let me skip over to J real quick. Now let me go back to A because I hope A can help me. No, no, A can't help you. You getting all the way over there now.
you're right,
It,
right.
so.
And I believe a lot of it though has to do with what I'm seeing is nobody wants to compete.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to compete on the court. They don't want to compete in the classroom. It says, you, my friend, you don't work too hard on me. I won't work too hard on you. We won't make each other better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can tell guys, it's only one name that goes on that scholarship. It's not a me and you scholarship. Like, yeah, me and bro going Division 1 to Florida. No, it's his name, and that's
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the new age thing of maybe the LeBron and them stuff. Let me play with my guys, see what happens. But they're not realizing these guys are millionaires and they're real life pros. They can
Mm-hmm.
do that.
Yep. They already put themselves in them positions to be able to, pull that kind of stuff off.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So what I wanted to ask you about is, as far as just high school basketball, Milwaukee wise, what are some of the changes that you noticed going on probably the last 5 years?
Oh man, talent level isn't as good.
Okay.
Nowhere near what it used to be. For the ones that are talented, that can be special, they, I believe they either have the wrong people around them. Um, they're going to the wrong situations, thinking it's going to be one thing and it's not something else. Not enough kids are playing high school basketball, or those that don't play high school basketball think, well, if I play AU for one of these 15 million mom and pop teams, I'll still go to college and be seen.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, we have so many charter schools. Some kids that will probably be like six, seven, eight man on certain teams to help win the state championship will go to charter school and go be, the man or second or third, fiddle over there. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of dynamics with it. One of my issues is we have a whole bunch of us that's coaches. A whole bunch of our friends have kids. If you trust me as a friend and as a trainer, your kid should be at my school or one of your coaching buddies that you trust.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be going to any suburban school where they're running a system. And no offense to them, they have their things, but they should not be going to suburban school running a system. And then when it comes time to college, they don't have no scholarship offers. The coach they make no calls, or they try to send them to a Division 3, which is non-scholarship, and they
Mm-hmm.
have a 2.2 GPA, or they could be in a public school, be a 3.5 student, almost get any scholarship that they want because they're a 3.5 student NPS, and win conference player of the year. Type of little things that you have to do now to, I guess, play the system or play the game. But
Mm-hmm.
people don't believe it until it's too late. I get calls and text messages all the time about, hey man, my kid needs a school, I need that. But it was a problem with me saying, hey, bring them over to NPS, bring them over to
Mm-hmm.
Tech. I work in the building.
Yep.
I get to walk through the hallways and go do classroom checks. We do tutoring every other day. We do weight room.
Mm-hmm.
We do everything that these suburban schools do. But then you come back to, like you said, you come back to point A1 and
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, can you call people for me? Even though I'm a good guy, yes, I'm going to do it, but that's really not my responsibility,
Yep.
you know? And I don't think a lot of people know that I get a lot of phone calls on a lot of our kids in the city
Mm-hmm.
from other coaches from high, mid major, the low major, the junior college division two NAIA, and a lot of people don't even know that I hook them up half the time. Say, hey man, that's a great kid. Parents are good. Or I say, hey, you want to know about the kid? Here goes his number. Here goes parents' number. I'm out the way. I'm just doing my due diligence.
Yep.
So it's just a lot to it where we have people who think people have plugs or they're in and they're not, and then
Mm-hmm.
they backtrack to the people they think not doing much because we don't put it on social media. We don't celebrate every time I get a kid an offer and things like that because
Yeah.
it's I do it because it's genuine out of the bottom of my heart. Now I can get you there. Now if you stay there, and you finish. Now I'm happy. Getting there is
Mm-hmm.
easy, but staying and finish is my whole thing at this point. Like say for example with Mikhail, he stayed the course, he finished, he got his bachelor's, he's gonna have his master's, and he's gonna be a pro. All I can ask for.
Yep. And a good kid overall for the years I seen him out here. It's kind of like, okay, you're good. He went to another good situation. Boomer's a great guy too. When we
Yep.
first met him, that was one of the things about us meeting him when he came over from California. He was always active. He wanted to go meet people. He wanted to pull up on you. Hey, how's this going? He checks in with you, unlike, I'm saying, a lot of 4-year guys or whatever. He spends
Yeah.
time trying to build his brand in whatever school he's at, so that way it turns into a reflection of himself. And I
Yeah.
just think that's a dope way to go about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like you said, everything that you do is a brand.
Yeah.
Even if you don't think it's not your brand, when you're out in public, you're a brand. Your social media, your Instagram, your everything is a brand. So, like I stop through games, high school, middle school, just throw my tech stuff on, because
Mm-hmm.
kids need to see that in the inner city. Because my thing is, excuse me, what makes us any different?
Yep.
We have three sets of jerseys. We have team shoes. We have travel shoes. We have a nice locker room. We have a nice gym. We almost got a semi Nike contract. We play good competition. We travel. What's the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Only thing I tell them is, hey, you go public school, you get over 3.0, all type of scholarships. You look good for the city, and you get all type of benefits and perks. Why would you go to a suburban school and you know you're not that high academically and you're fighting to be eligible and you can study and you're hovering around a 2.0? Because now your 2.0 is fighting against people from Illinois,
Mm-hmm.
Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri. It's not just local and statewide like people think. That's why I tell them. I say you're not competing with kids in Milwaukee for these scholarships. You're competing with all the other states that you got to compete with. And the
Yep.
difference is, and you know, as coach, you have a 2.2 core GPA and you're struggling to get that 2.3, or this kid has a 3.4 core GPA on top of a 3.9 regular GPA.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference with a lot of it.
Yep.
Oh, on top of your character.
Exactly. And it's like, they just don't understand, like, oh, okay, well, I can get into school. Yeah, to be a student, they want your money. But to represent this school on this program, absolutely not.
No, no, because I had some kids this year, and I had them. Hey, what school you want to go to? One kid said UCLA, Arizona, Florida. I said, okay, cool. Let me type into academic requirements first.
Mm-hmm.
I think UCLA only took in 3,000 freshmen out of 9,500 that submitted applications. And you all had to be 4.0 on top of honors and AP classes. I said, some of you guys got 2.0s right now, 1.8s. So your dream school is just going to play basketball that you can't go to. Then I said, on top of that, Design, Williamson, all those guys, all were 3.0 students at the end of the day still, too. So
Yep.
all these top 10, 15 kids, they think they just play basketball all day. I tell them, look at their social medias. They're not hanging around with girlfriends or throwing up gang signs or anything like that. Their
Mm-hmm.
stuff is business already. They're in the gym working out or they're building their brand.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people don't understand basketball is branding now. What makes your brand bigger than his? What makes your brand better than his?
Yep. And they might as well post it. Do whatever you're doing in the gym. You need to post that every day. You almost got to make that like you signing in or signing out for discussion points for class.
Yeah.
Make you a 3-minute post, bro. Show what you're doing. This is what I worked on. Show, or more or less, don't even show like the actual basketball skill portion of a workout. Show that you're in the weight room. At this point, go live showing that you're going to team run. That might help you. There's some other factors that might really help you because that's not what other people are going to do. And like you said, that's the competition aspect of it. I'm just going to go the hardest way possible when realistically there are other options around me that help me, you know what I'm saying, more than anything.
Right. Right. And like I said, that's the thing. Like, okay, you can dunk, he can dunk. I
Mm-hmm.
was, let's see you squatting 350 and he's just hanging out with his guys. You got to show that grind because, as you know, if study hall at 6 in the morning, it's not walking in at 6 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if practice starts at 6:30, it's not. I got to use the bathroom at 6:30 to get my shoes on. It's already stressed and sweating. Now it's time to get to our practice for 45 minutes, so hour 15 minutes, then we gone. So
Yep.
that's what I try to tell our kids when they walk in. I say practice starts at 4 o'clock. I'll say we get out at 3:20. I put 40 minutes on the clock. We should be clapping and done and ready to go into full practice at 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Not come in and tie my shoes, things like that. No, because you have 40 minutes to prepare. Use the bathroom, walk your girlfriend to the bus, tell me I go to two. Whatever it is you got to do, you got time.
Yep.
You know, and I think they don't understand the time part, how important that is. You know, you guys wake up late and you gotta take a 4 hour bus to y'all play in Norwood, Iowa. Y'all not waiting on nobody.
No.
We go.
Mm-hmm. And if you pull up, sorry, you're a spectator. Here's the camera.
Yep.
Whoever was filming, come join the bench because you relieved of them duties today, bro.
Exactly.
Man, they don't get that, and like just the time commitment. So the practice is at 4 o'clock for you. If it's at 6 a.m. for us, you might have had a lift in there. You might have had this. You might have had some team stuff you need to go do. Then on top of that requirement, you're going to have to go and submit your hours that you're going to have to go be in the library with either a tutor or just your own study hall.
Yeah.
And the only thing that gets you out of that for most of the JUCO programs around here and for us would have been you would have had to have a 3.5 GPA or higher. Well, that proved that you can do the job. We don't need to sit you here. Hey, go on about your business. But until
Right.
that point, nope, here. And then
Yeah.
like we had a rule or set up or whatever. If you missed it one time, yeah, you got reprimanded. No big deal. Nobody killed you over it. You got reprimanded. Then what it transitioned into is after you got that reprimand, you got suspended. You were not to be, brought back in any capacity until you met with the athletic director.
Right.
And that nipped a lot of that stuff in the bud. It's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm suspended. What do you mean suspended? Like game suspended or practice suspended? Like, hey, we don't want to see you until you change that grade suspended.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. I think a lot of them think is, well, I can play with this. It's the point of, yeah, you can play the 1.8, but why do I want you to play? Why are you satisfied with 1.8 when you get a 2.8? You get a 3.0. You go above and beyond. We're It's what people are okay with, and I'm not okay with bare minimum. Anything I've done in life has never been the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
My only problem with getting in trouble in school was I was done before everybody else. But I still graduated a 3.3 GPA, that type of stuff. So I knew when to be like, okay, I'm doing too much, but I knew how to get there and get work done and not wait on nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, it's too much. Well, maybe he learned his lesson this time, let him do it again. Well, if they keep touching the stove while it's hot and nobody tell them it's hot, they're going to keep doing it. And I think that's probably how we face now with all these kids getting in trouble, transferring. Because when somebody puts a little bit of toughness or discipline on them for life, nothing to do with basketball, we run or people make excuses for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the thing now is fighting our word against excuses.
Yep. And we had one guy, he walked down to Missouri, before walked down to Missouri, and he came in to talk to some of our guys one time, and he was like, yeah, one of the guys asked something stupid, and I have to say it was stupid. He's like, what happens if you're late? He was like, yeah, that's not a thing. He's like, what do you mean? It's not a thing. It doesn't exist. There is no late. School is free. What do you mean you're late? Why are you late? Did somebody hit your car? Did somebody tackle you outside? Was there a sniper? Unfortunately, we have to talk about that kind of stuff. Like, if that didn't happen, you shouldn't have been late. But then, what's furthermore, you knew you was about to be late, and you didn't alert anybody. So you think we got sympathy for you just because you walked in? Put your shoes on, and we'll see you later. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Just go around. Like when we think about you, we'll bring it up. But right now, no, bye. And they don't get that because now you just. Let's say you walked in 2 minutes late. Well, you just, how many people? That was like 1/4 of that. So if there's 15 kids on the team or whatever, you just cost us 30 minutes. Because that was 2 minutes of everybody's time, not just yours.
Yep.
They don't get that though.
And that's definitely what they don't look at. Like I tell guys, oh, I was late. I just know them. We start at 4 o'clock. You have 3:20 to 4 o'clock to come like, coach, I got to do this and do that. The routine doesn't change every day. I should be able to go have a meeting, run to get some Gatorades, or do anything. And when I walk in at 4:05, everything should be done and ready to go without any coach there. But that's where the immaturity and kids are scared to be a leader right now thing. Oh, I don't want to look up the coach's pet. It's not the coach's pet, it's being a leader.
Mm-hmm.
All you guys want to jump off the curb face first after he did it, and he did it. I would be like, no, we're not jumping off the curb, but it's still guys like, well, he did it because he did it. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Now, use that to, I got a 4.0 because he got a 4.0. Now we got a different conversation. But those are the conversations the kids don't have. It's never, I went and shot more shots on the shoot machine to get better 3-pointer because I wanted to. It's because you won't let me shoot him in the game. But then when it comes to doing the dumb stuff, we'll do. But when it comes to, well, he got a 4.0, why you didn't follow him then? It's an issue because it makes me look smart. Being smart is not cool. Being a good person isn't cool right now.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, like I tell these AAU guys of ours, like, look, smart people get paid. Show me a dumb doctor.
There you go.
Show me a dumb anything that gets paid exponentially. You can't.
Right.
Show me somebody that works with their hands. That person needs to know how to read a diagram. They need to be able to instruct other people. They need to be able to order people to come over to do certain things within their home. And like last night, we were doing something, we got a thing where we go like off the court. So off the court situation was, what's a quote or a song lyric that matters to you? And they looked at me like they were crazy for a second. And I was like, well, it has to be something. I was like, if we don't come up with something, we just gonna mop the floor. They didn't know what that meant, but I know you know what that meant. I was like, we're gonna find out today, but I need y'all to use your brains. I understand it's spring break. And realistically, that's the reason why we got blasted last week in a couple of these games, because you guys aren't mentally awake. You wake up because, okay, you got to go play this Adidas sponsored team today. Okay, cool. Y'all want to wake up then? No, wake up for everything because you
Yeah.
don't know who's watching. But like, who wants somebody that helps them with some kind of service to be incompetent with the service? I was like, all of you guys that went to a fast food place before, and if they got your order wrong, you got an attitude. Now imagine how we
Yeah.
feel that you have the talent to do what we asking you to do, and you choose not to do it because you got an attitude today. Your girlfriend won't talk to you today. I don't know what you did with that situation, but you can fix that outside of the time in these 2 hours that you got to be within the lines where that don't matter. Let that
Right.
be. Deal with it once this is over with. And then you can,
Hmm.
either be happy or sad about your decisions. But,
Well, the decision making thing is so hard for them because none of them never have to make decisions in their life right now, unlike we did.
mm-hmm.
So, for example, I talked to one of my coaching buddies who runs the AU program last night, and he's like, one of the coaches are trying to have a real life talk with the kid. He's like, that coach can't have one because he never had any real life issues.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tell my guys, at the end of every game of practice, y'all got food. You know you're eating when you leave practice. You know you have a ride or Uber or Lyft outside when you leave here.
Mm-hmm.
And you know you have your cell phone. When we played, or guys our age, bus, luckily to catch a ride, somebody had a car.
Mm-hmm.
We all put money together to get something from McDonald's because some of us definitely didn't have nothing to eat at home. So
Yeah.
when we say you got to grind for this, we understood it. They use grind for this as it's a cute thing to say, not really knowing that we needed this. This got
Mm-hmm.
us out of our neighborhoods. This kept us out of trouble. This kept us from going the wrong way because it was a real life grind. I knew if I had $5 and then that person only had two, and it's four of us, get whatever we get for $7 and everybody eat. They
Mm-hmm.
won't even do that with each other to be in the grind together because they're so selfish.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be a team or be a good person when you're selfish. And so my thing is, I tell these guys, be selfless and not selfish. And it took them a while to understand that, to understand the point of it, because they don't know what anything vocabulary wise means. They don't even know how to Google it, see what it means at this point. So it's just like those are the small things that I'm trying to get them to understand about life. Be selfless instead of selfish, and then you can understand the hunger and that grind. But hey, when you got new Jordans every week, the iPhone 14, you're not catching a bus. You get an Uber or Lyft home. You're getting food, Grubhub. You. How can we compete with that? How can we make them tougher?
Yeah.
How can we make them have a want?
Yeah. And that's like one of the young guys yesterday. He was saying in the social media post, he was like, you can't want it more than them. I was like, yep, now you learn it because
Yeah.
we gonna try to go do something and we can't deliver it to you. Can't.
No, at all. And we'll probably never be to because you got to think about it. A lot of the kids that we're dealing with, guess what their parents are?
Mm-hmm.
Their parents our age now.
Yep.
So now we're really coaching our peers' kids who some don't have a clue or they never played the sport
Mm-hmm.
or they're trying to figure it out on the go
Yep.
and understand how this grind is. But that's another story.
Yep. Yep. All right, so I want to transition real quick. We only got a little bit left for you. I want to ask you
All right.
what's your best athletic story, and it could be anything: funny, crazy, silly. Could be a trip you took at TSU, something at Tech. Could be anything. I want to get into the nitty gritty with all my guys, man. We all got some stories, bro.
Man, the tech story is unbelievable, and you have to be there for those. It was so much that people don't realize we're a real life family at Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't understand Tech people call each other by their last name because that's all they're like. Hey, Davis, Harrelson, Johnson. That's all
Mm-hmm.
we knew. So you got that. The TSU stories, I got to keep those locked away. But the Tech stuff would be, I, I guess our baby rivalry would have to be one of the top Tech things where I forgot who he was with, and it was about after school. I'm about to go to 19. We like, dog, don't get on the 19 by yourself. He like,
Facts.
man, I ain't worried about baby. I said, dog. He like, dog, don't get there by yourself. He gets on there by himself, right? He comes to school. I nodded up. We like, dog, what happened? Man, I said, listen to y'all, man. It wasn't even two trips past the bus stop, man. And they got on me real good. I said, I told you. I told you. So the rivalry was real. I mean, he figured out the hard way.
I got one of them situations. One day, and nothing happened, and the reason nothing happened is I get on. I don't. I think I was going to Grand. I think I want some shoes. I get on. I'm going to Grand. Obviously, you know, I said I had the school buses gonna take me on there.
Mhm.
So I get on there. All I hear is, they're like the tech dudes. What? You know, my antennas up now. What? What is he talking about? But I see my
Yeah.
guy, and that's who was saying it because we went to middle school together. Outside of that, I was like, hold on, all right, man, this is what it's about to be today.
Yeah.
But we all knew don't get on this dang bus.
Hmm.
And especially after like all of us had moved on or whatever, and then you had the real incidents that really started cracking off. So, all right, so only thing left I have for you, big bro, is
You
where
know
can
what?
people find you? Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I got. You probably remember this from your sophomore year. I got a story, but with you.
All right.
But I'll tell it off the camera. I can't tell you this one on camera. Well, you a wild boy. You know what I'm talking about too. I think.
Yeah, don't turn that on camera.
Yeah. But see, but people forget also. People don't realize the nickname we gave you at Tech was Droopy. Also, see, a
True,
lot of people don't even know that.
right.
So, but yeah, man.
Y'all used to be
Yeah,
on me for my arms, man. In my look, y'all used to be on me, bro.
you know that's a tech thing, all family, man.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my God. But yeah,
You
man.
still do it.
You
Be
guys
like,
can
hey, what's
find.
good, Drew? I'll be like, what?
Man, this is
All
one
right,
of them
so
tech things, man. Out of love, but you know, I also don't know if you've seen it, but you know, last weekend we was all out with Parkson and Coach B.
okay.
You know, having a good time with them and stuff like that. Coach Boyd's wife had passed like a week ago, so y'all got to we having had a good time. So, it that hey, I didn't realize I knew he was funny when he was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
but now that I'm grown, Coach Borwitz is he is an out of control person, man. He is really wild. Now I see why we was OC like that on the basketball court. Listen, for him to be an old white man at that time, he was no, he said some of the worst and wildest things in the world, and it was genuine and honest. I could never be mad at him because he told me some stories. He last week. I'm like, dog, you was really OC. He's like, who cares? Like for the one kid, right? Okay, last story. So the one kid, they had tryouts, no balls, right?
Yeah.
So they run it. The kid said, "Hey, Coach Boris." He's like, "Oh, you know, Boris. Oh, what's up?" He's like, "What's up?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, man, is this a basketball practice or damn track practice?" You know, Boris, hell, basketball practice. But I know one thing, you get the hell out. He put him out. Talking about, you know, Boris got to talk. Talking about is this a track practice? Later, get out of here. So yeah, man, it's a funny guy, man. They some good dudes still, man.
Man, that he like, oh, I, the funniest person to do Bora's voice to this day, I still think is the finest. The
Oh
finest
yeah.
one time was like, hey, what do you mean, Davis? Don't you mean me? And we looked and Boris was like, that was a good job. That was a good job. But you guys are running for it.
Yeah, exactly. 86-42 every time. 86-42. I'm like, come on, man. And mine, remember, all the bigs had to make it too. So wasn't no bigs in
Yeah.
the break. Up, do it again. Up, do it again. Up, do it again. I'm like, oh my god. So I've never been in better shape than high school because of Burroughs and Parkinson. But you know,
For sure,
whole
for
another
sure.
story.
Man, for sure. But I appreciate you, man. That's all I needed from you, man. Just trying to get these conversations started so that way we can start to put together panels to try to fix some of these problems, man.
Oh man, I'm always for it, man. Just just you know how to reach me. For those that don't, it's Bradley underscore Tech underscore BB on Twitter. And on Facebook is Bradley Tech Boys Basketball. You can find us all the information, schedules, highlights by older players, those type of things. So
All
Any
right.
information you need is right there.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
So, brother.
Gone. Yeah. I got it. We on the move. We on the move.